how did you get curious about this in the first place? So what is it about great teams and what makes them tick? Like why, how have, and why have you chosen to focus your life in this pursuit?
And that's a good question. I guess if you get down to it, this is a Canadian crew, right? Like I grew up in
Largely.
Alaska, and I know what it's like to sort of either get along or not get along with people in where you have challenges, where you have to sort of get through a winter or have some mountain to climb or something like that. So I guess I
Yeah.
grew up around that. And I wrote a book where I visited all these these talent hotbeds around the world a while ago, and I bet you guys have had this experience too, where you walk into a certain locker room, or you walk into a certain school, or you walk into a certain family, and like things feel different there, right? Like
Yeah.
people are clicking and things are happening, and there's more creativity and there's more performance and more productivity and more joy. And like I kept encountering that in these places, and so it just naturally sort of got me wondering, like, what's that made of? It feels like magic. Is it actually magic, or is it something that can be measured, understood? Is there a process underneath that? And that's what sent me on this journey of, I spent 5 years visiting some of the highest performing cultures on the planet and seeing what makes them tick.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for that, Dan. And that's probably a good segue into even defining what culture is. I mean, I think culture can be a very nebulous term. What does culture mean to you? How do you define it?
Well, people start out when you say that word, they've got a certain mental model in their head, right?
Yeah.
Oh, our culture. And it's sort of the mental model we typically have is that culture is like kind of the feel of a group, like it's their personality or their identity, and it's kind of soft and it's made up of values and integrity and trust and teamwork. We have all these words. And the problem with that view is that it's really mushy. Like that's why conversations around culture are super mushy and kind of frustrating. So rather than talk, let me just give you an image of what good culture is. It's like picture a flock of birds or maybe a school of fish, but let's say a flock of birds moving through the sky all together. They're connected, right? And they're weaving through a forest together, all connected. They're solving problems at speed. They're moving towards some goal. They're connected and they're sharing information, like they're aware of each other. Now that mental image that's a Navy SEAL team on a mission. Like that's what it is. It's a connected group moving through obstacles toward a goal, communicating and being connected. It's Pixar making a movie. Like who's in charge? It's kind of hard to tell, actually. It's connected people sharing, moving toward a goal. So that image really is more functional, right? So I would say a functional definition of culture is a set of relationships moving toward a goal. Like that's what it is. That's what it is. And so because it's defined like that, it's about the interactions between people and the connections between people. And that functional definition of culture is what you see in all of these places.